What's up, guys? Alfie here with a quick guide on the Naraka raid, Boiling Waterfall, and the things I found while playing through it. We struggled for a little while. At the first run, we didn't even know we had to have a ignore beneficial effect monster, or it was almost impossible. So that's the first thing you're gonna need. Either Fire Raven, who they have given to us through Monster Story. There's also the Water Marshal Cat and the Dark Cowgirl. Water Marshal Cat only has it on one ability. Dark Cowgirl has it on all three, so that's a little better. Lupinus, if you have her, is also very good. Let me pull them all up. Okay. So these are all the options you have for that. It's kind of limited, which explains why they gave us Fire Raven, and I believe they give us the Dark Cowgirl in the future in a secret dungeon. So that's the first thing you're going to need, and you're going to need some decent damage. Brand or a defense break, so Helia can help, but you need to make sure you're surviving first before you even think about throwing her in. After that, you're going to want to have either shield or a lot of healing. So a lot of people are running Bastet, but for options, you can also run the Water Pioneer Wusa. He'll give you immunity and some healing, but his healing is kind of weak since it's continuous healing. I actually think she might be very good for it. She applies a shield to herself, that's okay, but she removes a harmful effect and applies a shield with her skill 3. And she heals and puts up defense buff on her skill 2. And being a 4-star, she'll be really easy to build. So if you don't have a good Bastet, or if your team's already running 2 Bastets, she might be a better option than maybe Kona. Kona's pretty good as a healer because of the resurge with the healing. So you can help your team keep up the attack buffs and shields. And you got to keep in mind that you don't want to go too support heavy. You want to do it with a group that you know, so you can kind of spread the roles through. For example, we were running like 2 Bastets, 2 Konomiyas, and actually it might have been 3 Bastets, but you don't need 3 Bastets. I think 2 Bastets, maybe a Wusa or a Rina, and a Konomiya, or a Konomiya would work. You just kind of want to spread the roles so you can fit in the damage. So you want someone with a shield, someone with a beneficial ignoring damage, and then maybe a healer. Or if 2 of your teammates have healers, then you can bring in a Helia, as long as you're sticking together in a tight group and applying the shield to each other and healing each other when anyone gets the burn. That's pretty much it for team composition. I was running Bastet, Helia, Fire Raven. We had someone running Acelia for defense break, and Bastet, Konami, I believe. Oh no, Bastet, Fire Raven. I think we all 3 of us had Fire Raven. I'll show some footage in a second from our runs. I did max skill my Fire Raven. I think he should be a priority for a lot of players right now for that raid, and he's actually pretty good in a lot of areas. He can speed up Shoreleki runs, the light expedition. I haven't got him to work in level 4 yet, though. I don't have a good defense breaker support. If I had a Huahi, I might try it. That's pretty much it as far as team composition. As far as actually playing through the raid, the main thing you're gonna watch out for is the burns. You don't want to stand in fire, and you want to try to heal up back to full as soon as you get a burn. So you may want to soul link Kodamiya or your healer. Soul linking your shield also helps because you can keep the shield up till your heal goes through, or till an ally's heal goes through. I was swapping between Bastet and Helia a lot. I would do Helia whenever I felt safe and swap to Bastet anytime that the burn started to stack up until someone could heal me. Then once you do, after a certain amount of time, I believe, he will go into an invincibility stage, and that's when your Fire Raven is going to be the only thing dealing damage. You can still apply debuffs, so that's a good time usually. So you can put up the shield and then swap to Helia to defense break and brand to speed up the process. Because once he takes enough damage, he'll go into a stun state, and then you can just do damage with anything. The invisibility will be removed. And while he's in the state, that's when the most often I would switch to Helia is while he's in the stun state. You have like, I want to say 30 seconds, so you can swap to her, throw out some defense breaks, and then get as much damage as possible in. For the first time after that happens, he will fly into the air and start spawning fire elementals. While this is happening, avoid the fire and kill the fire elementals. They'll have a shield. The Fire Raven will still do damage to them through the shield, but you can remove the shield by CCing them. For Cleave users, Water Cleave has the lowest cooldowns, so you can use him to break the shields by doing his, I believe, skill 2 and skill 3, Provoke and Pushback. Pushback counts as CC, so it will trigger the shields being broken. I believe Orbia, the water weapon, is the best for this phase. Kina doesn't really have an option for CC, I believe. So you're going to have to build something like Tractor and switch into him for this phase. So another thing is there were times where I needed to heal more during that phase. At the beginning, once I got the mechanics down, I didn't need to switch as often. But I would swap Helia for Konamiya. You have enough time between the Fire Spirits spawning to swap one monster, and you have enough time after they die while he's doing his ultimate attack where you have to stay in the Seal Shrine to swap back. So that's one option. Taeon's another good healer for it too. I forgot to mention him. His heal's actually on a lower cooldown if he doesn't revive. So that's another good option for your healer and resurger. But Tractor and Mav are probably some of the better options for the CC since their Provoke is on a pretty short cooldown. And I believe Tractor's CC is only a 2 mana cost, so you can just Soul Link him and spam it. So this skill, when maxed out, is 82 chance for Provoke for 11 seconds on a 14-second cooldown or 2 mana cost, so it's pretty good. And I believe once he's awakened, he also has a chance to provide a defense break. But you'll want to swap him in and out for the wave phase, and then just swap back to your normal team. Then Mav's another good option. I believe I'm 70. His Provoke it's a 3 mana cost, so I do think Tractor's still a little bit better. But he also does apply continuous recovery to himself. It's alright. Gotta keep in mind that in raids, all the enemies are neutral, so even though he looks like a fire monster, the raid boss and all of the elementals are all neutral. So don't really have to worry too much about elementals in here. After the first wave, it won't happen again, so you can just stay in with your original team and you're just gonna have to keep going through the phases. After that, instead of going into the elemental phase, he will start spamming burns that can push you. So you gotta position yourself in a way where if he does push you back, you won't fall into fire. That's where a lot of my fails came in. After we figured out the mechanics, is that I would position myself too close to a flame, and he would just push me straight into the flame with 2 or 3 consecutive attacks. And the main thing with the entire raid is you kind of want to stay grouped together and provide shields and healing for each other. If you stay together and you have enough shields and healing, you don't have to move. You can just stand there as long as there's no fire. And that's pretty much it for the whole raid.